This is Tech Unmuted, the podcast of modern collaboration, where we tell the stories of how collaboration tools enable businesses to be more efficient and connected. With your hosts, George Schoenstein and Santi Cuellar. Welcome to Tech Unmuted.
Welcome to the latest episode of Tech Unmuted. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the trends that are predicted by Copilot for 2024. None of this is really technical stuff, but
it's fun.
We'll see what happens. And we haven't pre-done this. We're going to do this on the fly. So this is one, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see some of the activity as we go through it on the screen. If you're listening to it, it works perfectly well on any of the platforms that you'd be listening to. As always, please subscribe, please like, please comment. We'll do our best where there's comments or requests to feature those in an upcoming episode where it makes sense. So we're going to start this off. Santi is going to bring up Copilot on screen, and we've got 6 questions that we're going to run through, and I'll give him a second to get that brought up, and then we'll start off with the first question. So question number 1. What will be the most popular fashion trend in 2024?
Okay.
Something I'm keenly concerned about.
All right, Copilot. And the answer is, let's see. I bet you that each response is going to have some type of a caveat, like, oh, here it is. Okay, so the fashion industry is always evolving. It's hard to predict, and so there's the caveat. See, it always has something, right? It always gives you like this. Oh, look, it even gives you some sample fashion links. This is pretty interesting. Okay, so first one, micro fringe, which I never heard of. What is? It's ultra fine standards of micro fringe, accenting. What is that? Hemliness? You know, hemlines. And I should probably wear my reading glasses. Directing the eye to key elements. Okay, and then there's Business Central, which I've never heard of. I heard of Business Casual. This is interesting. And then Major Mod Micro Minis. So there you go. George, this is going to be an interesting topic for sure. We have 3 fashion trends that we can expect to see in 2024. I don't know how Business Central is going to work out, to be honest with you. That's kind of odd, but.
And this, if you take a look at it, right, it went through chat. It's sort of a hybrid of an AI response and a reference to InStyle magazine to get to this answer. So let's see what happens as we go forward with the next couple of these.
So what I do want to point out is that, like everything else that Copilot does, it gives you the answer, but it gives you the reference. And then down below, it gives you all the links. There's 4 links in total where it used a source to generate its response. But I've never seen this before, where now it gives me tiles of some clothing and purses that are for sale. And it actually titles that. You see, it says, here are some options for fashion trend 2024. Yep. And so there you go. And so now you can click on those and actually buy them. All right, this was pretty cool. You know why? Because you don't get to see this type of response from ChatGPT usually just gives you the answer. But Copilot takes a step further and it's giving you these, suggested links that you can go buy stuff at. Anyway, that's pretty cool. All right.
So let's move on to number 2. It's a little more interesting, at least for me. What will be the most popular food trends in 2024?
Yeah, that is a good one. All right. So let's submit it. Look at that. Okay. So it's interesting because this one, it went straight to the Food Network. Makes sense, right? and it gave us 5. Remixed French pastries, countertop ovens. What is a countertop oven? What does it have to do with? I guess it includes cooking too. No, wait a minute. Compact multi-cooker. So yeah, that's not a food item. Okay. Spicy dishes is number 3. Nostalgic flavors. I'm curious to know what this is. Like peanut butter and jelly, s'mores and cotton candy will be popular in 2024. I don't know. I think they've been popular my entire life, but that's right. And then hormone-friendly meals. So those are your 5 results for 2024 food trends. I don't understand number 2 though. I guess it's just it got the answer from Food Network, but answers 1, 3, 4, and 5 are dishes or types of foods. Number 2 was an oven. So I don't know. I don't like that.
And it's anchoring, the interesting piece again, it's anchoring against a couple of, and sort of in particular, one site to get the data. In the background, I'm running, I didn't do it for the first one, but I'm running the same question through ChatGPT.
Okay.
It's taken quite a while to get to the answer. It actually hasn't delivered the answer yet. It's digging more individual sites.
But again, it used 3 sources, right? Copilot did it: Food Network, Health News, and Whole Foods Market. Which if you have a Whole Foods in your area, you know it's an awesome place to visit. So that's where I got its answers from. Interesting. Did ChatGPT come back with anything?
A much longer answer that I'm not going to completely go through, but they are all very food specific.
Are they similar though? Do you have
not at all?
Really?
So,
interesting.
Buckwheat as the it grain. The second one is use of botanicals. There's innovative use of mushrooms, spicy and sweet flavor combinations. There's a handful of other ones, but it came up with 12 in total. It actually, they do a quote reference on some of these, so they've come from different places, but it's a much longer list, which you generally with GPT-4, you get a very long list and you need to cut it back.
Interesting. All right. Let's go to the next one. What's the next one, George?
So the next question is, what will be the most popular travel destination in 2024? And again, each of these questions so far are written in a way that they really should give a single answer.
Yeah, let's see.
And
here.
They're not. They're giving a list. But so let's give this one a shot and see what happens. I'll run this in the background on ChatGPT as well. And
oh, wow.
And I'm going to modify my question to say, what will be the single most popular travel destination in 2024? And let's see what it comes up with.
Well, this is interesting. Okay. So, most popular travel destinations in 2024. The first one was Denmark. I never would have thought of Denmark as a popular. And then the second one is Colombia, specifically Cartagena. Cartagena, Colombia. That's specifically, and it gives you, by the way, it gives you the description or the narrative as to why, and of course where it got it from. All these are coming from travelandleisure.com, and one of them is coming from CNBC actually, and the New York Post. But anyway, so number 1 is Denmark. How do you pronounce that first? Is that Aalborg, Denmark? Then you have Cartagena, Colombia, Albanian apps in Albania. That sounds interesting, actually. But then it gives you a footnote. It says other sources suggest that Spain, Italy, Greece, and France will be popular travel destinations in 2024. By the way, I will be in Spain in November, so I guess it's right.
It predicted. For ChatGPT, basically, it's one of these challenging answers where it refused to answer. So
Really?
this is a complicated thing to figure out. There's a lot of travel destinations. Cities like Paris, Tokyo, New York are historically popular. Goes on and on with it.
Right. Interesting.
But I could refine this. I don't want to do it at the moment. There are ways to continue to drill down into this and refine the answer and get a better answer or a more specific answer, but it's trying not to answer the question effectively. So let's move on to the next one. So the next one is, and again, these are deliberate questions that if you asked a person, they would probably give you a single answer. And we're likely to see multiples for this. So what will be the most popular movie genre in 2024?
Okay, let's take a look. It's interesting because it opened up. It opened up with, I have searched the web and I have found that Rotten Tomatoes. So it's interesting. It's giving you and it says here, Rotten Tomatoes has compiled a list of the most anticipated movies for 2024. The list includes a variety of genres, from action franchises to blockbuster superhero fare. So it's not really, it couldn't find a more specific answer to your question. So it gave us a broad response. Okay. And then it gave us basically the links to Rotten Tomatoes and Wikipedia and IMDb. So
I got a better answer.
Interesting. Okay.
So I did again sort of get a, hey, I'm not answering this because it's really challenging, but it did close with several high-profile superhero films are slated for release in 2024 and have an enduring fan base. This very well could be the most popular genre of the year. So we did actually, and that's sort of mixed in yours. We did get a prediction on one of these.
So two different results. So far, Copilot has been producing the best generated answers, right? When you compare it to, but on this one, we kind of stumped that a little bit, and it just kind of said, hey, yeah, expect to see some of this. And it does mention superhero. Okay. But I like that ChatGPT kind of brought that one up to the top and said, hey, this is probably going to be the most popular that you're going to see in 2024. It's weird how you get the different results. I almost feel like sometimes you got to ask the same question twice. I don't know.
Or refine or sort of narrow down the responses. So let's take a look at the next one. So the next one is, what will be the most popular music genre in 2024?
I can tell you that.
I can't. So let's see here.
I'm gonna say it's gonna be rock because it never dies. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. So let's let it complete its response before we read it off loud here. Okay. So rock was not mentioned. According to Little Take, so that's where it got its responses from. Indie pop, so independent pop, which by the way, I love independent artists. So that's pretty good. I never heard of emo rap. Emo, the term emo. I don't know what that means. Latin music is always Latin music has been popular, honestly, for the past maybe decade. It's been really always at the top of the list. And then it has experimental pop, which honestly, I've never heard of the term experimental. But it says this genre often features unconventional structures, experimental production techniques, and lyrics. So I don't know what the difference is between that and indie, because indie can sound kind of like that too. But anyway, so there you go. Indie pop, emo rap, Latin music, and experimental pop will be the top 4 music genres in 2024.
So we got a more specific but not committal answer from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT said it's a little more specific. So it gave a couple of multiple elements, but it says hip hop has been increasingly influential, dominating streaming platforms and influencing other genres. So that one is a little more straightforward. So the final one, I think we're both going to have to play around here to see what kind of an answer we can get. So,
okay. What's the
which
last
team do you predict will win the Super Bowl this year?
one?
So we've done some things on lottery and other things before, but we did it on very data-based information. So I'm gonna take the prompt as is on this one. You'll take the prompt as is. Let's see what we get as an answer, which I think is not going to be an answer, but maybe if we sort of probe it a little bit, we'll get it. And so I can tell you up front, I'm not looking at your screen at the moment. I did not get an answer. Inherently difficult, team performance, player health, unforeseen events. I don't have the ability to predict the future. So so go through yours, actually.
Yeah, so mine was a very broad statement. I didn't get an answer. It says, I have searched the web and found that Kelly Clarkson has made her prediction for Super Bowl, which is scheduled to take place February 11, 2024. However, I could not find any reliable sources that predict the winner of the Super Bowl. So that was a very, very broad. I don't know if Kelly Clarkson's prediction is something that we should take seriously, but I want to ask the question slightly differently, since we're here and we're having some fun. So
I changed my question to, based on previous Super Bowl winners and the current standings on ESPN.com, which team is most likely to win? I don't think I'm getting an answer, but I'll give it a shot.
And I'm going to ask, will the Dolphins make it to the Super Bowl?
So there are odds out there. I saw them a couple of days ago. There's odds of matchups and based on betting odds.
Yeah, there's some current matches here.
And actually, it hit ESPN.com, but now it's going to Fox Sports. I can see
this is not
going through.
Yeah, it's not giving me football matches. But anyway, so it says, I've searched the web and found that Miami Dolphins have had a number of talented players that have impacted their season in 2023. They received the honor of being named the 2024 Pro Bowl games the week before Super Bowl. However, I couldn't find any reliable sources that predict the winner. So,
all right. GPT-4 is still cranking away here, so let's give it a second. But it appears to be looking at a lot of data, so I'm slightly optimistic that we will get a specific answer, or at least a ranking of teams when this finally gets through its analysis. And this is the challenge.
I'm surprised that it didn't mention the 49ers, since, like, if you look at the teams, right, I think everybody is pretty much predicting that it's going to be the 49ers and somebody else, right? I mean, but it's not willing to even do that, right? So I don't know.
And this, I can see what it's doing. It's showing me on GPT-4 all the individual elements it's looking at. So it went through statistics. So here we go. As of the latest standings, so it looked at rankings.
Right.
So I have an answer.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I will read what's on here. I'm going to read it as I sort of am pre-scanning it, so I don't know exactly what it's going to say at the end. As of the latest standings, the top teams in the AFC are the Ravens, Dolphins, and Chiefs, and Jaguars.
Yep.
In the NFC, the teams are the 49ers, Eagles, Lions, and Tampa Bay. That's not currently accurate, because I think Dallas is above the Eagles in the standings now. And then looking at historical Super Bowl performances, the 49ers and Baltimore have a strong track record. So I would loosely take that as a prediction.
I would agree.
The 49ers have won 5 Super Bowls and have a winning percentage of 714. The Ravens have fewer appearances, but they've won both appearances. So, and then it says in terms of season's performance, factors like expected points added per play, strength of schedule, efficiency of converting down. So there's a whole bunch of metrics. Doesn't give anything on that. And then given these factors, the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens appear to be strong contenders on historical performance, right? So that we've already said
it's hard to argue that, right? I think that's a pretty solid prediction, honestly, based on.
So it doesn't say one is the winner, but I'm going to ask one last question. If it is.
So while you ask the question, just for the records, because once we say it on a live podcast, it is forever etched in the interwebs. All right. Yeah. I am predicting that the Dolphins will win the AFC Championship at the very least. So, and we'll take it. I'll take that because we've had a struggling team for a while.
So I changed this question, and we're going to have to sit here and do a little banter for a minute because I think it's going to take a bit. So I said, if it is the 49ers and the Ravens in the Super Bowl, be specific here, who is most likely to win, and what will the score be based on past history? See if we get an answer. I suspect we will not get an answer, but let's see what we get here. We did get a prediction of both teams in the Super Bowl. It is there again, somewhere I saw there's a betting line that you can do sort of a future bet of who's going to be in the game. And I think that was number one on the betting line list. I think it was 7.
Well,
and like
I have news for you. I asked a question while you were typing. I asked Copilot, will the 49ers and Ravens go to Super Bowl in 2024? And I got an answer. So according to MSN, the San Francisco 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens are currently favored to win the Super Bowl. The 49ers are listed as, and it gives you the odds. And then it gives you what I think is a prediction. No, this is December 25th. There's, I guess, the last game that they played together. It gives you their scores. But it did say here that those are the two teams that are favored to win the Super Bowl.
And I did so on GPT with that last prompt. I did get a much quicker response. It basically now is refusing to predict the score. So due to many factors. In-game decisions, coaching, player performance, injuries, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So can I think of a final prompt here to try to get it? I did say based on past performance. So let me do one more time.
Oh, so the Ravens have 12 wins and the 49ers 11. I thought the 49ers had more wins. Ravens are leading. Man. This is going to be an interesting football season for sure.
So I'm doing one final question here before we close this out. So I'm saying I understand that. Talking to this like it's a real person. But if you had to pick one as the winner, who would it be?
And that's ChatGPT you're asking.
That's ChatGPT. It's in GPT-4.
Yeah.
So,
which by the way,
it is predicting. So I did get it's not giving me a score.
What's the
predicting the 49ers as the winner of the Super Bowl.
Very interesting. So, just for clarity, when you ask Copilot a question, it is technically going to ChatGPT-4 to generate its answers. But,
plus Copilot, integrating with Bing, though, right? So there's, correct. Even though
that's right,
GPT-4 goes out and searches the web, I think it's technically using Bing. It seems to be a different approach.
It does seem to be a different approach because it's using Bing as a source, whereas ChatGPT has a database that it uses or a knowledge base that cuts off at a certain date. And so it's listen, this whole thing is just, every time we do this and we see the results, it's just interesting. That's all. And people don't get a chance to see that. So that's why I like doing these things, because we kind of compare the two, and it's, in one case you get a really good response, and then the other one doesn't do well, but then one doesn't do well, and the other one all of a sudden comes up with this elaborate response. Look at this.
Yep.
It was ChatGPT who ultimately really gave you a solid prediction, whereas Copilot kind of danced around a little bit. So anyway, well, folks, that brings this podcast to an end. We have made some predictions for 2024.
I'm not sure how valuable any of those predictions are, but yeah, we made some predictions.
Don't hold us to them, but that was pretty good. Folks, remember to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform. That includes YouTube and any of the Audible platforms as well. And until next time, stay curious, stay connected.
Visit fusionconnect.com/techunmuted for show notes and more episodes. Thanks for listening.